Thank you for having me, everyone. Chairs Rep. Foster and Senator Honing, and Ranking Members Anderson and Gordon, and to the rest of the committee for having me here. I'm super excited about this opportunity and this project. Like Rep. Foster said, we had a lunch a year ago talking about this. As NGACT president, one of our biggest focus in our mission for our association is to improve the quality of life of our service members and their families, and to decrease some of the parities between the National Guard and active duty. Having served in the Guard for 31 years as of next month, I've noticed through the years that a lot of our younger soldiers tend to have retail jobs versus being able to go into trades or any other kind of non-traditional pathways outside of higher education of college. So my goal is to hopefully get everybody into a profession so that they can provide for their families and help, Connecticut's home team, as we like to call, and help the local economy. Last year at our conference, we did a workforce development panel, and we realized that manufacturing within Connecticut has so many different openings, and we have the opportunity to help support the state and our local economy by providing opportunities for soldiers to fill some of those gaps that exist in the state. So again, super excited about this opportunity. Some of the things we like to talk about, so for us, some of our legislative priorities in this forum that we want to kind of talk about is we want to change some of the language within the general statutes. A lot of the languages tend to be about veterans that have already transitioned out of service and don't include traditional guardsmen that still serve just, on the weekends and during their annual training. So we'd like to change some of the statutes to include language that involves currently serving guardsmen. The other thing that we would like to do is to allow, again, guardsmen to utilize existing DOL and DVA services for career counseling, in addition to expansion of their existing programs. And then the other thing that we find is that we need to improve the education about these resources. There's so many resources out there, so many nonprofits, and there really is no central repository, I guess to say, of how to access these resources. And many times people just say, I didn't know that was available to me. So needs to be a better way to communicate the resources. We're hoping to maybe help businesses attract and want to hire currently serving guardsmen by providing tax incentives for businesses that hire veterans and guardsmen. And then really lastly looking at licensing boards to create clearer pathways of our jobs, our MOSs and AFCs on the Air Force side, of how those can really transition into a civilian workforce. It's really easy in higher education and at colleges where they'll take our transcripts and they say, hey, this is equivalent to this many credits, but there really isn't a pathway that way for trades. And we think that on the National Guard side, having those kinds of pathways would also help our recruiting command, because as we get incoming service members, we can say, hey, if you choose this job within the Army Guard or the Air Guard, that would translate into such and such profession on the civilian side, so that you can kind of do both at the same time, receive credit for your training. So that's kind of like our legislative plan of where we would like to see some of this head to. We do have some, both on the Army and Air side, we do have federal funding for credentialing and education. Unfortunately, the Air Guard receives different funding than the Army. They actually receive less funding for credentialing and non-traditional pathways than the Army side does. So we would like to find a way that the state can maybe help cross that bridge to help our Air Guard partners be able to get some of the same benefits that the Army does here within the state. And then just to kind of give everybody some kind of background context, within the Army National Guard, we pulled some numbers for specifically for manufacturing, because it's a project that Sam and I have been talking about and working on. So on the Army side, our end strength last year was 3,654. Of that, 775 5 jobs were associated with manufacturing, which is about 22% of our force on the Army side has manufacturing backgrounds. And that includes fabrication, repair and maintenance, engineering, and allied trades. And then, so within those, we have engineering, construction, maintenance, fabrication. We also have logistics and supply chain, which can help within the manufacturing community. And then we also have senior level management within those fields also. So we can definitely, within the Army Guard, we can definitely support manufacturing. And on the air side, between their maintenance, we can absolutely support the aerospace community with their recruiting efforts within their economy. We have at least 4 or 5 different corporate partners that partner specifically with the Connecticut Guard, trying to help their recruiting efforts. They attend our Crossroads events that we do quarterly for our transitioning service members. We just had one this past weekend. And not only did we do it for our transitioning service members, but we also did it as a job fair, so that current service members that were looking to maybe change professions or get new professions, they were able to meet with the recruiting teams from those manufacturers. And before I came in here, we were doing some background research, and the DOL, the Department of Labor within the country, has partnership programs for veterans. But just little side note, I pulled up Hartford, and in Hartford, we only have 6 companies as an employer that are part of an apprenticeship program within Connecticut. So there's so many more opportunities that we're not taking advantage of nationally and within the state. And within that, there's only 3 union labor companies within the Hartford area that provide apprenticeship programs specifically for veterans and service members. So I think there's a way that we can help educate local partners to become partners nationally, federally, to help improve their ability to recruit and come to the force. That's all I have for now. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Just want to, say that earlier this month we had a tour of the TASMG
Yep.
Repair facility down in Groton, and I was just really impressed with the kind of the skills and the professionalism that all the members of the Guard down there were displaying, and it really does make a lot of sense that you should be able to transition from work like that into manufacturing here in Connecticut. Are there any questions from the committee?